Hello, everybody. It's really good to be back again. I've been involved in different things and been missing for a short while. Today's topic is one that has plagued everyone who goes on a diet and wants to lose weight. Now, what's critically important is to understand that when someone is doing the AccuWeight program, there should be no meaningful hunger. The reason there should be no meaningful hunger is because while you are on AccuWeight, you are 24 hours a day living off the sugar that comes from the fat in your body. Now, if you are living off the sugar that comes from the fat in your body, then your energy level should maintain, and whatever it is that you're doing should not impact. Cravings, on the other hand, is something that all of us face for different reasons, and all of them tend to be psychological in nature. It's hard for anyone to stop when they're doing the program and differentiate between normal living and craving. So let me try to define craving in a different kind of way. And I hope you stay with me to hear what it is that I'm going to say, because if you do not understand, then you will never take control of your life. You cannot live without food. It's as simple as that. You cannot live without food. Therefore, from the moment you are born, the need for food is there. A mother delivers her baby. The baby begins to fuss. The mother nurtures the baby with a breast or a bottle, and within the first few hours of life, the feeling of comfort, the feeling of security, the emotional well-being, and food become connected. Let's not make it more difficult to understand. It's as simple as that. Without food, you're going to die. So you have to have food to stay alive. But you don't need to have the amount of food that people are taking in order to survive. So the reason cravings are there are emotional in nature. The most difficult thing for me is to get through to people to understand that unless we understand our personal issues, and we all have personal issues, if we don't understand the personal issues, we will never get to the other side. Now, I'm going to use me for a moment for an example. When I met Dr. Chu over 25 years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds. And he said to me, while we were working together, Dr. Schwartz, you cannot be an overweight doctor. Very simple. If you're going to be a weight loss person, you can't be overweight. And so I did the program. And in 3 months, I lost 84 pounds. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is for 24 plus years, I have kept off that weight. And the reason I've kept it off is that I understood that if I could rationally take care of the emotionality that related to food, my problems would diminish and I wouldn't have them. But here's the problem. People are impatient. They don't really want an answer. Talk to me. No, it takes too long. I can't wait to listen and hear and understand what we're talking about. Goodbye. And if you look historically, people have been on the program, some of them for years. I'll give you an example. A woman attorney lost 41 pounds, shook my hand, said, "Thank you, Dr. Schwartz," and disappeared. No end, just gone. Almost a year later, she appeared in the office and said, "Dr. Schwartz, you said to me that anything less than a gain of 10 pounds is not a medical problem. Is that correct?" And I said, "Yes, that's correct." She said, "Well, I've put on 8 pounds and I want to go on the program again to take off those 8 pounds. I said, "Fine." She went on the program. She lost 10 pounds. 2 weeks on the program, she lost 10 pounds, disappeared. I have been seeing this woman now for about 8 years, twice or 3 times a year. She's never more than 10 pounds overweight from her final goal weight. And I am her maintenance program. There is nothing wrong with that. And I will not care what your maintenance program is if you understand how your own emotionality relates to your health and you're maintaining what feels good and is good for you. Now, Let's make the word craving simplistic. When you are on the program, you will not be hungry. And the reason you will not be hungry is because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you will be living off the sugar that comes from the fat in your body. So all of your energy is coming from inside you. And the only reason we have food, the milk, fruits, and vegetables, is because if we combine milk, fruits, and vegetables, we have fat, protein, amino acids, enzymes, and fructose. The 5 basic ingredients that the body requires. The beads, when massaged, block your brain's ability to count calories. So your brain doesn't tell your body that you are starving. And therefore, you only burn fat. So what are cravings? The cravings come from the unconscious thought processes that say to you, I want comfort. I'm thinking back Thursday night. My daughter and I were sitting together and watching a television program. I had on my lap a bowl of pre-made, I had made it already, sugar-free Jell-O. And I had it because I wanted something. We were sitting, we were watching the program, we had some conversation in between, and all of a sudden I heard the sound of the spoon banging against the bowl. I had finished the entire bowl of Jell-O, which was a box of Jell-O. I had finished the entire bowl of Jell-O and had been totally unaware of what I was doing. But it comforted me. It distracted me. And when I realized that, I realized that I, just as you, have to focus and pay attention, because I will never again become an overweight weight doctor. Now, I want is where it comes from. It's emotional in nature. Maybe 5% of all cravings have some underlying physiological base. Most do not. So the question is, what does craving mean? And if you look at the title of today's video, I ask, will you be passive or will you be proactive? In life, The vast majority of people who are passive in nature end up being on some level or another victimized. Now, when it comes to craving, if you are passive, you are victimizing yourself. The cravings come from inside you. They're emotional in nature, and they say, comfort me. Now stop for a moment and listen. You're at a dinner of some sort and it's celebratory. Some of the foods you eat because they're part of the celebration, and other foods, when you ingest them, they make you feel good. Ooh, that was good. I really enjoyed that. And sometimes they say to you, and you can hear them speaking, do you want more of me? And you do. And some people do that out of control because the feeling of comfort that they get overrides everything else. Now, being passive doesn't work. And the reason passivity does not work is because the thought of craving is incessant. It's a part of you that says, I want comfort. Pay attention to me. And you say no. And it says, pay attention to me. And you say no. And it says, pay attention to me. And you say no. How many times will you say no and then find yourself breaking down, giving in, and then you find out the truth? It didn't really help. Whatever it is you wanted did not satisfy you. And the reason it didn't satisfy you is because that part of your psyche. Now, because I'm a psychologist, I like to call that part of your psyche your child self. Why your child self? When have you ever seen anyone having fun? I mean, really having fun and not behaving as though they were a child. I'd like you to call me up on the phone. I'd like you to send me pictures. Write to me. Anyone out there and say, I look around and I see adults acting as adults, and you can see they're really having a great time. I don't care how you try. It's not going to happen. I didn't say feel satisfied. I said having a good time, enjoying yourself. The whole underpinning of a party is to have fun. And adults are not capable of having fun. It's the child self that lives within the adult that you let loose. The problem is you let loose. You know, one of the biggest problems that adolescents have and adults have with adolescence is the adolescent is not a child any longer and not yet an adult. And they seek to become adults. The problem is they don't have enough information, and therefore there's a problem. So your job and my job is to integrate that aspect, that child self, but you have to pay attention to it. Now, hear what I just said. You have to pay attention to it. That child talks to you. And yes, that child is part of you. If I took the child out of you, all the fun, all the enjoyment would go out of your life. No adult is capable of having fun without the utilization of the child self. So here is the first thing that I want you to do. I want you to make a list of all the things that you can do. 3, 5, 7, 10 things. Make a list. When I have a craving and I want something that will take me off the program, instead of cheating, and I hate that word because everybody understands it and we use it, but it's not a cheat. What it is you meeting that unconscious need to be comforted, which comes from the child self. Remember, when you're doing AccuWeight properly, there is no hunger. But I'm hungry. I want. Do you see the contradiction? When you're on the program, there is no hunger. So what do we mean when we say, I crave? What do you crave? You crave comfort. Now we can get into the psychological dynamics of it and work on it for years. And you will have not lost an ounce. Nothing will change. But if you become more proactive in your life, in relation to food in your program, you can maintain your weight, you can lose your weight, and the problem will go away. Now, I was sitting there and I finished an entire bowl of Jell-O. And I unconsciously finished it because I was not aware of what it is that I was doing until I heard the spoon clanking against the bowl, and there was nothing in the bowl. Now, what I did was interesting. First of all, I was shocked at myself, and I realized that I just was eating thoughtlessly. Let's not get into the kind of day I had. And that was part of what propelled me. It was a very taxing day on many different levels. It was nice to sit with my daughter, watch television, and just relax. And so I took the Jell-O. I then got up, and I have them in a cabinet, and I took out a Dr. John's lollipop. And I smiled at myself. One, because I had the Dr. John's lollipops. And I was thinking to myself, you tell patients all the time, why didn't you do that to begin with? And I unwrapped and I took the Dr. John's lollipop and I said, I'm using you so that I will not crave and cheat anymore. And I know that you are not as good as the cheat that I really want. And I put the lollipop in my mouth. And I was totally and consciously aware of the fact, and this is the important thing, I was consciously aware of the fact that I was in control. I wanted something. There is no question. I had thoughts of going to the refrigerator and looking to see what's in there, or going to the pantry and seeing what's in there. I wanted something, and the bowl of Jell-O that I had just finished was not enough. And the reason it was not enough is, number one, I was doing it unconsciously. When I put the lollipop in my mouth, the stick was in my hand. I was taking control. And for I don't know how many minutes, I was listening to my daughter, I was watching the program, I was sucking on the lollipop, and I started to smile inside myself. Now, to be very honest with you, I had to take a second lollipop. The feeling of craving, the feeling of wanting something did not go away until I finished 2 lollipops, which was about 15 minutes or so. Now, the biggest issue was the feeling that entered me or grew within inside of me when that process was going on. Number one, because I had that stick of the lollipop in my hand, I recognized I had the control, I had the power, and I wasn't going to become overcome by that feeling of craving. I wouldn't say it was a battle, but there was pull from both sides. And what I have to also tell you is that my daughter had been to friends of hers who had come down to Florida and rented a place nearby with their child. And they were leaving, and she came back with 3/4 of a cake. It was some kind of cream chocolate cake. And that was part of what was in my head. I wanted that. And it was 10:30 at night. And I wanted that. The lollipop stopped me. And the reason the lollipop stopped me was twofold. First of all, I knew what I've been telling you people. The taste of the lollipop, if mixed with the chocolate cake, would have been terrible, and I would not have been able to. I would have thrown away everything. And two, I was pleased and proud of myself. I took control, and it felt good to know that I had taken care, and I'm sorry whether you accept what I say or not. I was glad that I took care of that little boy who lives inside me, who drives me crazy at times. And the reason he drives me crazy at times is, for those of you who didn't know, when I was a child, I was truly attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And that child was the devil. He's still there, but we have more control of him now. So what I want you to do is I want you to make a list. Here is what I will do. I'll take a drink of water. I'll take some gum. Depending upon where and when you are, I will get up and I will walk around. It makes no difference what it is that you do, but it is critical that you not be passive. Passivity leads to danger. Oh, please, please don't. We live in a world which has gone insane. Let's go look beyond the pandemic. Everybody wants, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're passive about it, the odds of you achieving are minimized. If we give ourselves choices, and someone, by the way, on Facebook said, "Hi, Dr. Schwartz," so I'm saying hi back. And since there's no name, I can't say who. So number one, make a list. And every day, start the day off by saying, if I have a craving, this is what I will do in order to stay under control. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is that if it's inside your head, it has potential. But nothing is real unless you bring it into the world. A fetus has potential, but it is only a fetus, and it's not in the real world. So it only exists within its mother. Once the mother gives birth, the fetus is real. If you are thinking about cheating, and thinking about cheating, and thinking about cheating, you're going to break down and you're going to give in. Every time you give in, you're unhappy. Oh, why did I do that? And the reason that happens is because it doesn't satisfy you to give in. The craving will drive you crazy until you recognize what it is. I want comfort. Keep it simple. When we get up into these deep psychological kinds of issues, and I'm not minimizing them, but we're talking about something that can change your life. And you can change your life. by learning to take control. And the more you take control and acknowledge that other part of yourself. Remember what I said. That child within you is critical for your well-being. If we put that child in a cage, all the fun, all the joy will go out of your life. Adults have no capacity for having fun. But the adult can enjoy life because what we're doing is what we do as good parents. We allow the child to have fun, but we teach the child to limit that fun, because fun that is out of control is dangerous. So what I'm asking you to do is to take control and for us to interact. One of the things that I have learned, I discussed with my daughter after the show was over what I'm sharing with you. What was going on inside my head. I wanted something. What it was, I don't know. And the only definition I can give you, it was comfort. I wanted comfort. What does that mean? It means I was uncomfortable. Why? I had a very stressful day. I managed it well. And now I was sitting here and relaxing, and my child self suddenly said, maybe you didn't pay attention to me all day today. You were working. I want something. I want to have fun. I have no idea. I felt that need. And so I took a bowl of jelly, which I always have in the refrigerator. And I had not done what I normally do, which is while making the bowl of jelly, putting it into 4, 5, 6 cups rather than keeping it in a bowl so I can have one portion at a time. I was in a rush. It's not important what the reason was. There was a bowl there instead of cups. Normally, it's important because when I finish a cup and I want more, I have to get up, I have to go to the refrigerator, I have to take it out, and there's a conscious awareness of the fact that, I have to get up, I have to go to the refrigerator, and I become aware of the unconscious pressure that I'm under. Now, when I'm in control, I can enjoy the jello, and the feeling, the craving tends to go away. Try it, make a list, and every day take something off the list and say, today, if I am craving, this is what I will do. Second thing, you must verbalize. Don't just think it. When you say, I'm using you as a substitute, I'm going for a walk, I'm going to drink some water, I'm going to get a sugar-free jello, I'm going to make whatever it is you choose is fine. Now, I'm going to go to a list of questions that I've developed for tonight, and hopefully they'll be helpful. My sister is joining the program. She didn't want to wait to get started, so I gave her my beads, and she put them on the same point that you gave to me. My consultant told me that that was not okay. How come? The answer is you are not me. There are 12 different acupressure points. In your body, there are 12. In my body, there are 12. Only one of the 12 acupressure points is active at any one time. Now, when you're on AccuWeight, think of the reason for the beads. When you massage the bead, it blocks your brain's ability to count calories. If your brain cannot count calories, your body will not recognize that on the program you are being starved. If your body doesn't recognize you're being starved, there will be no reaction inside. You will not go into starvation mode. Now, the massage talks to the hypothalamus, and satisfaction is achieved. You still are not getting the calories, so your liver goes to your stored fat, takes some of your stored fat and converts it to glycogen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're living off the sugar that comes from the fat in your body. Cravings, therefore, are emotional and psychological 95% of the time. This woman was using the beads for her daughter without knowing what the point is. Now, I'll grant you, in that first week, she probably lost weight. And the reason she lost weight was from a caloric point of view, she was seriously deficient. And so she lost weight because of the fact that she wasn't taking in the calories. But she was also cannibalizing her body. She was burning muscle, organ, leaching minerals from the bones, and impacting on her metabolism. That's why the point is important, because it's your acupressure point that blocks the brain's ability to count calories. I hope that was a helpful answer. I'm getting runs on milk days. What can I do? Not everyone can drink plain milk. Many people, I'm one of them, are lactose intolerant. What that means is my body is not able to digest the protein in the milk. When I do milk, I use the lactase pills, the lactase enzyme pills. That lactase enzyme is not being produced inside my stomach. So when I take it together with my dairy, my body is able to digest the protein in the milk and the runs go away. Some people, a very small number of people, have an allergy to milk. And for them, we have a vegan substitute It works, but we have to do some other things with it to make it good for the program. If you have the runs with whole milk, try the lactase enzyme pills or speak to me or your consultant. I just signed up for a half marathon. Should I be eating more calories while I'm training? Interesting question. First, under 7 miles a day, there should be no problem at all. 7 to 9, maybe. More than 9, something we have to look at. Now we're talking here about a half marathon. All of you have heard me say in training, take a bottle of hot water or hot tea, melt in it X number of teaspoons of honey. You have to speak to me personally till we make an adjustment on that. Honey, when melted into water or tea, will not separate again. So now we have honey water. For those marathoners, what I usually in practice, I usually have a hard-boiled egg before a run, and then have that bottle of honey water with them to put a floor under their blood sugar. And the day before they run, to get some advice either from their consultant or from a fellow runner, and to do what they have to. Remember, this is a half marathon, not a full marathon. So once you treat your body properly, there'll be no issue. Call, ask your consultant. The program has been working great for me. My mother is diabetic and wants to know if it's safe for her to do it as well. Just before I went on the air this evening, I saw a patient who was a severe diabetic, grossly overweight. In the 1 month that he's been on the program, he has lost over 30 pounds, and doing the program properly in 1 month, he is no longer taking any medication. He was taking insulin and glipizide. He is now totally off medication, and his numbers are between 90 and 120, his sugar numbers, between 90 and 120, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, losing weight on the program, no medication. Do it properly, and you'll change your life. Are all the recipes on the website allowed during the program, or do I have to wait until maintenance? One of the wonderful things is that we have over 500 recipes that are tried and true. We also have a search function. There are certain food items that people like. Put it into the search function. The computer will pick out for you recipes that have that food in it. And one of the most important things to understand, and it's something that I learned Took me about 2 months. When I was eating something that I looked forward to, it made all the difference. Some of those recipes, and one in particular that blows my mind on a vegetable day. It uses, by the way, I love pasta. And I used to use the Miracle noodles. They were okay, but I was never excited by them because they were just okay. When my daughter discovered palmini, which is spaghetti made from hearts of palm, it changed my life. Here's my recipe. Take a skillet, a little water, and some Pam. Saute spinach, peppers, and onions. Great. While they are being sauteed, add, at least that's what I do, I like Hunt's tomato sauce because I'm told they do it by heat so the skin doesn't go in, only the tomato sauce goes in. I'm sauteing it, and when it's almost ready, put the hearts of palm spaghetti, the palmini on top, mix it up, and you have spaghetti primavera that is outstanding. It's filling, it's totally legal, it tastes like pasta primavera, and you walk away satisfied and you say, this was diet food? No, it was food that felt good, that was helping you lose weight. I'm going on vacation next month. Should I wait until I get back? I don't want to be dieting while on vacation. If you're going to go away within the next 2 weeks, then definitely wait until you come back. If it's 3 or 4 weeks away, then what I recommend is that you start the program and that you ask for the vacation protocol, which will give you a sense of really a good feeling during your vacation. You will not put on any weight. You won't lose weight. You might a little bit, but the odds are you will not lose. But you'll have vacation, you'll have been eating, and you'll be losing weight. Last question. How much weight should I expect to lose in the first week? I don't know. What I will tell you is that if you do the program properly, as in most diets, this is a weight loss program, and I don't want to get into that right now. You will lose more weight in your first week than you imagine. Some of it is water weight, and that's why it's usually a bit more than any other week. Remember, however, that once you finish with that water weight, we are promising you that you can expect 15 pounds every month as long as you stick to the program. And that weight is almost exclusively fat. You will not burn muscle, you will not burn organ, you will not leach minerals from the bones. I want to thank you for having tuned in. I hope I have given you some thoughts. I hope you make the list so that you have choices when the cravings are there. I would love interaction. What I find is, and I speak to patients every single day, that interaction is educational. They grow, they learn, they move on, and it's what a wonderful thing to grow the AccuWeight Loss family. Thank you for listening. I'll be back again soon. Stay well.